Now we will see the farm design for commercial button mushroom cultivation. Before planning for a farm design, we have to select site for the farm, mushroom farm, and some of the prerequisites we have to see that it should be away from the municipal limits, because even if we are using uh, a short method of composting, there are some pollution is been done, some gases are coming out of it, composting, such as methane, such as ammonia, some such as carbon monoxide. So if it is within the limits of the municipal committee or municipal limits or uh, uh, municipal area, so it will create some nuisance for the persons living around the mushroom farm. So that is why always try to keep it outside the municipal limit. Then the roads is very important for any mushroom unit, because you have to bring the raw material to your farm. You have to transport the product, finished product from your farm to market. So if the roads are not there, proper roads are not there, then you have to expend the uh, some amount on the transportation. So that is why a motorable road is very important for any mushroom farm. Then water availability is not much more in button mushroom cultivation. It is, it is normally 25 to 30 liters per kg of mushroom to be grown, but a regular water supply is very important, because uh, in case of any other crop, if 1 day or 2 day you don't have water, it's okay, no problem. But with button mushroom or crop or any mushroom crop, you can say, uh, if 1 day if you are devoid of water or no water is there, then there will not be no any crop for next whole cropping cycle. So you will lose all the crop for all cropping cycle. So regular water supply is a very important factor also. Then easy availability of raw material is very important, because if you have to transport raw material from long distances, so that will create, or that will means that will have a input of some money for the transportation. So easy and near availability of raw material is also very important. Then another point is cheap labor. Labor is also very important in mushroom cultivation, because mushroom cultivation or mushroom industry is a labor intensive industry for making compost, for spawning, for watering, for harvesting, for everything you need some labor. And if you don't have proper labor availability, then there will be problem in harvesting, watering, everything. So cheap availability of cheap labor is also very important. Overall, power supply is very important again, because for all the process you need power, such as for running blowers, or running your tunnel, running your bunker, running your air conditioning unit, running your AHUs, everything require power. So uninterrupted power supply is very important. So a separate line for this has to be means taken. Or if there is interrupted power supply, then you have to have some DG set uh, mm, for the running the mushroom farm, right? So coming to the component of the mushroom unit. So mushroom unit have a component, four component basically. One is spawn unit, another is composting unit, third is cropping unit, and fourth is post harvest handling unit. So in case of smaller units, such as up to you can say 1500 tons per annum production, you need not to go for a spawn unit. But more than 1500 tons per annum production, you need a spawn unit. Then composting unit and cropping unit is mandatory. Then post harvest handling you can have or you cannot. Doesn't matter, because if the fresh market is available, no need for post harvest handling unit. But if you have to can it, or you have to fridge dry it, or if you want to export it, you need to have a post harvest handling unit. So this is optional. So in spawn unit, if you see, you need to have at least 4 rooms. One is cooking or autoclaving room, where you boil the grains, cereal grain for making a spawn, and autoclaving the spawn base material of the spawn, such as your grains along with calcium carbonate and calcium sulfate, and fill it in the bags, and then you go for autoclaving. So for that you need a room for cooking and autoclaving. Secondly, for inoculation, you need a inoculation room which is completely closed from all the side, completely sterilized. It should be a smaller room, because as smaller the room is, chances of contamination will be always less. And if the room is bigger, inoculation room is bigger, then chances of contamination will be high. Then third requirement is always the incubation room. So incubation room, you have to plan an incubation room at a specific temperature, such as for button mushroom, it requires 25 degrees centigrade to grow. So your incubation room should be fixed at the temperature 25 degrees centigrade. Secondly, the size of the incubation room has to be calculated also, because if you are, say, if you are producing 100 kg spawn per day, so, and spawn production takes around 20 days for its completion. So, means what does it mean? That 100 kg per day, and you have to keep it for 20 days in inoculation incubation room. So, for your incubation room should have a capacity of 2 tons spawn at least. So that you have to calculate as per the production capacity, per day production capacity of your incubation room. And then finally, a cold room is required to store your spawn. If instantly your spawn is not being sold or not being supplied to the grower, some of the grower, or not, you are not using instantly, then you have to store it at a lower temperature, such as 4 to 8 degrees centigrade, between 4 to 8 degrees centigrade. And for that you need a cold room. So this is a basic structure of the spawn lab. Uh, a boiler room, a store, a boiling mixing area, then autoclave, then inoculation room, cooling room, then inoculation room, and then finally incubation room. And this is a structure given for 100-ton spawn per annum production. Then coming to seasonal cultivation, if we see in India, 2 types of cultivation is done. One is seasonal cultivation, means in the states of Punjab, Haryana, some of the parts of UP and Bihar, the farmers do a seasonal cultivation of button mushroom during the period November to March. In November means in October they start the composting process. In the end of the November they means start of the November they spawn it. In the first week of the December they harvest the first crop, and this goes up to 3 months, December, January and February complete. So in the first week of March they terminate the crop. So one crop is normally been taken as seasonal cultivation, and around 20 to 22 kg or 25 kg mushroom they harvest from 100 kg of the compost. So this is seasonal cultivation, but the time is prolonged up to, the cropping period is up to 5 months. So that is why the means the yield is a little higher. In this case, the composting is done outside in the open areas, open fields. So no need for any shade or something else, or any farm infrastructure. They prepare the cropping room using paddy straw and bamboos. So first of all, they make racks in the cropping room, and then they make the outside structure of the cropping room. Normally the cropping room size is 60 feet in length, 30 feet in width, and 10 feet height. So you can see the structure is been made by bamboos and the plastic ropes, and finally it is covered. This is the racks made by the bamboos, and finally it is covered with the polythene sheet to balance or to control the oxygen CO2 balance inside the cropping room and also the temperature. And finally it is covered with the paddy straw from the top, because paddy straw and polythene both acts as insulating material, so it do not allow the temperature to go out and the outside temperature to come in, right? So this is made by bamboos, paddy straw and plastic sheets. So this is the structure of the uh, mushroom huts in the seasonal cultivation. This is the inside view of the mushroom huts, having two doors on the in the front, and on the back side at a height of 1 feet from the ground level. They make 2 feet by 2 feet a window on both the sides of the hut. So composting is done manually using forks. Okay, and secondly, this is one hut made by uh, bamboos and plastic sheet and paddy straw, but semi you can say semi controlled condition uh, huts are also prepared using flat uh, uh, using brick wall and covered with a circunda roof. Inside that there is a forced air circulation duct which is fitted with a blower fan, and which actually induce the air inside the cropping room for the oxygen. Now, if we see the setup of the environmental control unit, so we need to have a pre-composting or pre-wetting area, composting yard, phase 1 bunker, phase 2 tunnel, casing soil chamber, and spawning area. So these are the infrastructure used or required for composting unit. So in composting unit, you can see in this picture, so this is a composting unit which is having a pre-wetting area, phase 1 bunkers, and phase 2 tunnels, and a spawning area. So always in farm design, we have to see that the composting area is completely separate from the cropping area. It should not be intermingled. Means in the length it has to be made, or it has to be arranged. So if we see outdoor composting facility, it should have a concrete floor with a cover, tin shade, or with a polyacrylic sheet shade. So anything can be done in composting yard. Then it is normally pre-wetted inside the cropping yard and mixed. The material is mixed in the compost yard. Okay, this is mixing of composting ingredient, and then we need to have a stacking boards, which with the help of which we fix the height and the width of the composting pile. So this is the pile. Now, these are some machinery normally used, automatic compost turner. So if we are using a short method of composting, so we need to turn it inside out the compost pile, and it is done normally manually. It can be done manually if the one go the composting material is less, and if it is higher, then you have to go for machines, turning machine. This is indoor phase 1 bunker. Now, in phase 1 bunker, we have already discussed about the different types of phase 1 bunker. It can be a grated, it is normally a grated floor. It can be steel iron grated floors, or it can be a concrete grated floor. It can be made by the using the pipes. So this is the structure of the pipe we give it. So this is the means actual drawing of the bunker floor. So in bunker floor, you can see there are two pipes, a header pipe and a tail pipe. through which in between these header pipe and tail pipe, there are running pipes in length, which is fitted with the spigot. And spigot is nothing. Spigot is a plastic structure which is broad at the base and the tapering at the top, so that it helps in two ways. One is it do not allow the composting mixture to go inside the your pipe, because it will then you will have to clean the pipe every time. But due to the presence of a spigot, you need not to clean every time. So after 3-4 months, you can clean once. And second benefit of the spigot is because the top end is tapered, so the pressure of the air is increased in the spigot, and this allow the air to cross through the composting mixture in the bunker. uh, this is, you can see, this is the pipes running through the bunker. This is the back side of the bunker. You can see this is a tailpipe, which actually helps in equalizing the pressure in the in all the pipes of the bunker. This is the front end loader used for mixing and filling of the bunkers and tunnel. This is a, uh, uh, tractor fitted with a front end loader. This can also be used for mixing the um, composting mixture, filling the compost into the bunker or into the tunnel. This is the hopper regulator and conveyor belt, which can be used for filling the bunker and tunnels. If you have a bigger mushroom unit, then you should have these kind of equipments. Coming to structure of um, tunnel, we have already discussed about the tunnel. It is having two floors. One is perforated floor, and another is a slanted floor, which is known as a planum. Uh, uh, this actually slanted planum is used for equalizing the pressure. Similar in the case of uh, bunker, we have two pipes, tailpipe and header pipe, which actually helps in uh, equalizing the pressure. Similar in the case of tunnel also. We have to equalize the pressure in all the area of the tunnel, and for this we have to use a slanted floor, which is the slope of this slanted floor is normally 2%. And the size of the blower is also very important in case of tunnel, which can be calculated uh, for any type of tunnel. But in this case, we have taken uh, a, a tunnel which is having 12 feet in width and 45 feet in length, and 13 feet height. Okay, so in this case, the minimum means compost output is 20 tons in one go, and the CFM of the fan, blower fan, which is fitted in the planum, it is around 3700 CFM is required. The pressure of the fan should be 10 to 12 centimeter water gauge, and the type of the fan should be backward curved or backward inclined. So, and this is the structure of a casing soil chamber. Casing soil chamber is nothing but it is a small room, completely insulated room fitted with a blower and a recirculation duct. This is just to increase, and it is also having steam connection from boiler. So this increase the temperature of the room to 65 to 70 degrees centigrade for pasteurization of the casing soil. So in the casing soil room, it can be bulk pasteurized also, means directly it can be filled inside the room, but then there will be always a chance that casing soil will go into the planum of your casing soil room. So that will you have to clean it again and again, so that so we normally use sterilized or pasteurized casing soil in trays. It can be plastic trays, or it can be a wooden tray. It can be stacked vertically. So more and more casing soil can be accommodated in a small room, because you have to use a boiler in this. So as small as the room is, it is always good, because you have to calculate the size of the room that will accommodate your required quantity of casing soil. Now, how will you calculate the casing soil you require in one go? Means if you are using a 25-ton or 20-ton of tunnel as it is given previously, so for 20 tons of tunnel you will have 2,000 bags, and per bag almost 2 kg of casing soil is required. So if you require 2 kg of casing soil, so total you need 4 tons of casing soil in one go for a 20-ton compost. So you have to make a room which can accommodate 4 tons of casing soil in one go for pasteurization. Right. So this is a blower fitted on the back side of the casing soil chamber, so that the steam can be circulated inside the casing soil room and can be pasteurized. Then this is a boiler which is fitted for the casing soil room. Now, boiler can be of two types: diesel fired. It can be a diesel fired boiler. It can be a wood fired boiler. Depends upon your site that what type of boiler you have to purchase. If you have easily available woods, then you can go for wood fired boilers. If you don't have, then you have to go for a diesel fired boilers. And normally capacity for a casing soil is 150 kg per hour to 200 kg per hour boiler for a small size of casing room. Now, if you are having, this is a spawning machine and bagging machine. So if you are, say, if you are using uh, 25 tons of compost in a room, uh, and you have to, or you can say, if you are using more than 25 tons of compost in a one day, or 50 tons of compost, say, for an example. So you need to uh, means and you have, say, 20 rooms, then you have to, every day you have to fill the rooms with a 5,000 bags. So if you have to go for 5,000 bags per day, so it is manually, it is very difficult to spawn or bag 5,000 bags in a day. So you will need a lot of labor, a number of labor. So to reduce the labor cost, there are certain machines which are spawning and bagging machine, which normally bags in 1 minute. We see the cropping room can be of different types. Cropping room can be made of puff panels, or normally in India it is brick walls insulated with thermocols from inside. Normally it is done, but recently puff panels are also very popular in fabricating the cropping rooms, because it is having low thermal conductivity. Puff panels have low thermal conductivity. Leakage are also very low, so the maintenance of temperature is very easy, and also the running of the air conditioning unit will be lesser if we use the puff panel. Now, uh, insulated poly houses are also been used in Western countries for cultivation of mushroom. In this high density polythene, it is made by pipes, plastic pipes, soft plastic pipes, and high density polythene. Two layers of high density of polythene is there, and in between the two layers of high density polythene, normally there are puff is filled, or glass wool is filled. So this is insulated. So this is normally used in Western countries also. But in India, normally we use brick walls with insulations and also the puff panels. The cultivation can be done in racks as well as in bags, both. Nothing much difference is there. But the main problem in bags and means in tray cultivation, that once any disease comes in one tray or one rack, so complete rack will be infected, and then only the disease will be manifested, or you can recognize that the disease has come. So means loss will be very high if some disease is coming. But if no disease is coming, then rack cultivation is very good. But if in bags, if you see in bags, if disease is coming in one bag, you can remove it. One bag, so only 10 kg of compost will be lost. But here you can lose 1000 kg of the bag or 2000 kg of the bag. So what is the capacity of your rack? That will depend on that. So it happens. So there are always some benefits and demerits of each type of system, cultivation systems. So now in the cropping room, for proper air circulation, it needs some ducts, because you have to have equal air distribution in all through the rooms, right? Then only you will get a homogeneous crop all through the rooms. Otherwise, what will happen? In some places, very good crop will be there, and in some places of the room, there will not be any crop. So you need to have a duct. So duct can be a fixed duct, with it can be made by aluminum sheets, or it can be duct can be plastic ducts, which can be means use and throw type of ducts. You can use one or two crops, one for one or two crops, one duct, and then remove it. Then again you have to fit another polythene duct. So it is cheaper, and also it will have a advantage, because disease inoculum will not develop inside the duct, because duct is throwing air. So if any disease inoculum comes in the duct, so it will spread in all through the rooms. So if you change it after 2-3 crops, so it will not means negatively affect the diseases, means negatively affect the crop by spreading the diseases. So now see, this is the structure inside the room. Mushrooms are generally cultivated in tiers, right? So in tiers, you will see the minimum distance between the two tiers should be 22 to 24 inches. If you are using a broad bags, then you have to you can means reduce the gap between the two tires, that is up to 20 inches. But if you are using a normal bag of 16 inch, then you have to go for 24 inches, means 2 feet difference between the two tires. In racks, you can even reduce the difference between the two tires, that can be up to 18 inches between the two racks. So as per this, and you have to leave at least 4 feet on the top of the rack. All the if you see all the tires, then on the above of the tire, 4 feet means space should be open to circulate the air. So normally, in case of if you are using 2 rows of racks, then you can use 1 or 2 ducts. So it depends. If your rack size is width is very high, like 5 to 6 or 7 feet, then or 5 to 6 feet, then you have to use two ducts on the side of near the wall. But if you are using means rack size of 3 feet, around 3 feet, then you need only one duct in the center of the two uh, uh, racks. So it depends that what means what is the size you are using. So it will depend on that only. So now if we see the air handling unit, so it is air handling unit is fitted with a blower in the AHU. Now, if you see the similar problem, whereas in case of a tunnel, you have seen that the pressure decreases when it goes or it is distant from the blower. So if your duct is straight and the hole sizes are same throughout the duct, what will happen? The near means the holes near the blower will have more air speed, whereas in the distant holes, the air speed will be lesser. So we have to equalize it. So there are two methods of equalizing the pressure of the air or speed of the air in all the holes. That is one, if there is a means the ducts are fixed, like made up of aluminum sheets, then what happens? it is always what we do, that the size of the uh, duct is reduced towards the uh, end of the room, so that the pressure of the air is equalized. But the second is, if you are using the plastic ducts, then there will be a problem to reduce the size. So what we do in this case, we vary the size of means size of the holes and the distance of the two holes. Initially, near the blower, the distance between the two holes are larger, and as we go more or distant from the blower, the size of the holes will be smaller, and the distance between the two holes is reduced, so that the air speed remains same all through the cropping room. So this is done both the ways. So this is some AHUs given. So now, what is the structure of the AHU? That has to be understood first. In AHU, it is a box basically. In AHU, it is having one section. The first section is uh, one is means there are two inlets. One is fresh air inlet, another is recirculating air inlet, because you cannot give 100% fresh air, because if you give 100% fresh air, your refrigeration cost will be very high. So as per the requirement, we have to give the air. So there is a chamber where we mix the recirculating air, means the air from the room, and the fresh air, because oxygen is required. So we mix it at one place. Then there is a heating column, means from where, if the air flows, then it is heated. And then there is a cooling section where the air is being cooled. So it depends that if your room temperature is lesser, like 10-12 degrees centigrade, so you have to heat. And if your temperature is higher, like 23-24 degrees centigrade, then you have to reduce. And for that, you have to have a cooling section. So means these two sections are sensor based. So it will depend upon the temperature of the cropping room. So it can also be done using, means it can also be done manually. So both ways you can do. If it is a smaller unit, then it can be manually done. But if in the bigger unit, it has to be done using sensor, right? So then after the cooling section, there is a means humidifier section, where there is a high pressure mist is formed of water, because due to cooling, the moisture of the air is very reduced, or you can say reduced. So when the air blows directly inside the room, what will happen? It will dry your casing soil, and it will stop your fruit body formation. So for that, we need a humidifier section, so that the air blowing inside the cropping room should be humidified first, and then it is blowed inside the room to maintain the RH up to 85%. So again, it can be sensor based, it can be manual. Now, there are two types of AHU is available in the market. One is individual AHU fitted with a heating section, fitted with a air conditioning system, and fitted with a humidifier section. But this individual type of AHU is good for small sized of mushroom farm. If a mushroom farm is bigger, means like if you have 4-5 rooms, then you can use the individual AHU. But if you have a number of room of 12, 15, 18, 20, then you have to go for means centralized chilling plant and centralized heating plant, so that your means the cost can be saved. So this is a centralized unit of means heating section and cooling section and controller and AHUs fitted at DMR Solan. So this is all about the uh, farm design for white button mushroom. So thank you very much.